The state of Colorado, their Senate is moving forward on a very contentious bill that threatens parental rights as well as free speech. The bill is known as HB 25-1312, and it would require, among other things, custody decisions to consider how a parent treats gender-confused children. It would also treat, catch this, misgendering and dead naming as child abuse. Child abuse. The bill literally passed the House earlier this month and was before the Senate Judiciary Committee earlier this afternoon. So what's likely to happen with this bill? And if it passes, what in the world would the ramifications be? Well, here to discuss this is Representative Rose Pugliese, the Republican minority leader in Colorado's General Assembly. Representative Pugliese, thank you for joining us today. It's good to have you.
Thank you, Jody, for having me.
All right, so the hearings for the bill in the Senate have already started today. Representative Pugliese, what can you tell us about it so far?
You know, what's been really amazing is the outreach and grassroots support for parental rights in Colorado. This has become an issue that has transcended party lines. Doesn't matter if you're a Republican, Democrat, unaffiliated, or what party you are. Parents don't want to be told how to raise their kids, and they definitely don't want to be at risk of losing their children if they don't subscribe to an ideology that doesn't align with their values. And so what we have seen are hundreds of people crowding the Capitol stairs, in different rooms, all waiting to testify today on this very egregious bill.
Yeah, very egregious, and to the extent that you have termed this, as I understand, as a huge violation of parental rights. Go a little bit further down that path, if you will, the violation specifically on parental rights that this presents.
And so basically, you know, if you have a child that is, as you call it, gender confused. Basically, it could be used against a parent in a child custody battle. And I work with a lot of domestic violence survivors who have seen the system being used against them. And they find this to be very egregious and scary. It is scary for parents across Colorado to know if you don't subscribe to a certain ideology, if you want to raise your children with your God-given right to raise them in the way that conforms to your values, that literally your children can be taken away. It is a bridge too far for all Coloradans. I think it's a bridge too far for all Americans. And so I think that's why we're seeing the outpouring of support, a lot of national attention like yours. So thank you so much for helping us to elevate this issue in Colorado, but also out.
Well, you are so right. I mean, what starts in one place rarely stays there. There's always this rippling effect that goes far beyond. And this is something that needs to be highlighted and dealt with. And it's the parental rights, yes. It's the free speech rights, yes. But also something that I'm not hearing a lot of mention about is the religious freedom expressions involved in all of this, the First Amendment rights. Would you have a comment to make on that end of things?
No, absolutely. I'm a devout Catholic. I'm a single mom. I raised 2 children on my own. And again, it is my God-given right to raise them in accordance with my values and not have government subscribe an ideology to me and then threaten to take away my children. I mean, again, a bridge too far for every American.
All right, I want you to explain this for me. The bill says that it would consider parental behavior antithetical to the affirmation of gender confusion as, and this is what I want to get your comment on, as types of coercive control. What does that mean, and how would it influence custody cases?
You know, obviously, we get to name our children when they are born. And, you know, if a child wants to go by a different name and you don't call them by that name, it could be used against you in a child custody battle as coercive control. You know, they talk about dead naming your child that you named. And so, I think that we have the God-given right to raise our children. We have the God-given right to call them by their given name, and government should not be interfering with that. No one should tell us that we have to agree with this ideology in order to raise our children and then be at risk of losing them in a child custody battle. And we know the system's not perfect. It can always be used against parents. But again, being able to use this ideology against parents who are just trying to raise their children in accordance with their values it's just too much for Coloradans. And that's why we're seeing hundreds of people, lining up in the Capitol today to make their voices heard. So I am really very grateful and very blessed that we are able to get the message out so that parents' voices can be heard in Colorado.
Well, hats off to you and your colleagues who are standing with you and the hundreds and hundreds that you're talking about who are showing up to let their voices be heard. But I wonder with all of this, and I know probably you can't speak to this, but perhaps from a just observation perspective, what is the motive behind this? Is it what you said? Is it an attempt to control parents and force them into this ideology? Is that what's really seemingly behind this?
You know, we have seen in Colorado over the years just this attempt at continuing to take away parental rights on different issues. I mean, in Colorado, my 13-year-old can make medical decisions for herself. And she has a rare genetic disorder that she doesn't understand. And so what we've seen is this continuing erosion. I think this bill particularly goes very far in interfering with a parent's God-given right to raise their children, and forcing an ideology that, you know, some of us don't subscribe to in the way that we raise our children. And so I think we have seen the incremental violation of parental rights, and this is just that next step in continuing to put government in charge of children.
All right, just a very short period of time left. Where's this bill going? Do you think it's going to cross the finish line? Is it going to be stopped? What are your thoughts?
It's too early to tell. You know, in Colorado, the governor is a Democrat. Both houses have majorities, Democrat. So right now it is going through the Senate process. We hear that amendments will be coming forward. Whether those amendments will be enough to get support of the bill, obviously not by Republicans, but enough support to get it through and to the governor's desk. And then whether or not he actually vetoes it, it will be up to him.
Thank you, Colorado House Minority Leader Rose Pugliese. Great job. Thank you for standing firm. Thank you for coming on Washington Watch and helping get this story out. We appreciate it.
Thank you.